Before we had 4K, photorealistic graphics, DLCs, season passes, and microtransactions, we had this. A simple gray plastic box with a single circuit board inside and games that came in chunky cartridges. There were no updates or downloadable content, no online service to expand the game after release. What you bought was what you got, and developers had to make every single byte count. It was a time when creativity had to work within strict limitations, and those limits led to some of the most iconic games ever made. In the late 80s, the 8-bit console era was coming to an end. Sega had already released its 16-bit console, the Mega Drive, and the rivalry between them and Nintendo was stronger than ever. So, in 1990, the Super Nintendo was released in Japan as the Super Famicom, and in 1991, it reached the rest of the world. With its 16-bit graphics and a sound chip co-developed by Sony, the same Sony that would launch the PlayStation years later and become one of Nintendo's biggest competitors. The Super Nintendo, or SNES, gave developers a whole new palette to work with. It could rotate backgrounds, scale images, and even simulate 3D, a magic trick known as Mode 7. That's how games like F-Zero, Super Mario Kart, and Pilot Wings gave players the feeling of flying, racing, and exploring in ways never seen before. But what really made the Super Nintendo legendary wasn't just its power. Donkey Kong Country, A Link to the Past, Chrono Trigger, countless masterpieces setting new standards for what video games could be. No matter what kind of player you are, the SNES had something unforgettable waiting for you. And because of that, it became home to some of the most iconic games ever made, and left a mark that would last for generations. Another thing the Super Nintendo is remembered for is its music quality. Composers like Koji Kondo, Nobuo Uematsu, David Wise turned the SNES into a tiny orchestra, and now, decades later, these compositions remain iconic, a testament of the innovation and creativity of the era. The SNES was the first console that I played, the first console that I bought, the one that brought me back to console gaming. The worlds it offered, the stories it told, and the characters it introduced left a mark that goes far beyond nostalgia. It's a console that defined an era, inspiring both games that came after and the players who grew up with it. And even now, decades later, it still has the power to surprise and bring people together. From unforgettable worlds to timeless music, from innovative mechanics to characters we still love today, everything we've experienced, leave it here, on this gray plastic box. Because behind every great game, there is a console that made it possible.